I'm Alison Grieve, founder and chief executive of G-Hold. Our mission here is to protect portable devices and the humans who use them for comfortable productivity. Today, in celebration of International Women's Day, I'm going to be doing some multitasking by not only giving you some tech training in how to use one of my favourite graphics apps, Pixelmator, but also using it to highlight some of the missed opportunities to maximise UK venture capital funds by investing equally across genders. We're going to be showing the different journeys of an all-male founder team compared to an all-female founder team, and so we'll start by opening the Pixelmator app. So we're going to create an image of an all-male founding team by Create Image. We'll go into my camera roll and select the Vitruvian man and import him to represent the team. We'll click plus because we want him dressed. We'll go into the camera roll again and we'll select this clothed man. Slide in from the left to move that layer to underneath the Vitruvian man, and then we're going to go to Select Tool so that we can cut out his head. I've selected free selection, I'm drawing around him. We'll copy his face and then we'll paste his face, and we'll just delete that layer underneath there and we'll move his head into position with our finger. Let's just interject with the shocking statistic that for every £1 of UK VC funds raised, 89 pence goes to all male founder teams and just 1 pence going to all female founder teams. So let's raise some money for Mr. Vitruvian by clicking on the plus sign, selecting text, and we're going to type in here a round of £1 million. We're going to make it bold by clicking here, and we'll adjust the size. Now we'll break this round down into separate pots of £100,000 by selecting this one from my camera roll, and we're going to duplicate this 9 times. Vitruvian's going to need some support in selling his technology, so we're going to add in an experienced sales director, a sales team, and add in some distributor incentives. We'll give it a budget of 200,000. We're pretty sure that Vitruvian has some more ideas up his sleeve, so we're going to add in some research and development and also some patent protection. This should lead to more products for the company and in turn more revenue. So we'll put 100,000 into there. Let's invest in some plant and machinery for Vitruvian's team to optimize production. We'll put an ops team there, and also we'll get a decent stock holding together so that we can benefit from the economies of scale, and that's going to make us more profitable. We'll pop 200,000 in that budget. He's going to really need to have his finances and contracts taken care of, as well as the admin for the company. So we'll add in professional services and an admin team with a budget of 100,000. We'll add in a salary for Vitruvian and some investor monitoring fees. And last but certainly not least, we're going to add in 300,000 into our budget for marketing, trade shows and customer service to really maximise the return on investment after a 2-year period. So let's just assume that Vitruvian's business plan comes together and his team perform as they should do. We're going to assume an investment to revenue ratio at the end of a 2-year period of 1 investment to 2 revenue, and we're going to say that the initial investment of £1 million is going to turn into revenues of £2 million by the end of year 2. We're now going to go on the same journey, but this time we're going to choose an all-female founder team, and leading the team this time is going to be the Mona Lisa. Now, let's remind ourselves of the shocking statistic that only 1% of the total pot of venture capital funds goes to all female founder teams. Now, I can hear those hecklers saying, but VCs don't receive the same volume of investment decks from female entrepreneurs, or female entrepreneurs are more likely to set up lifestyle businesses that are less scalable and unsuitable for venture capital. So let's put that argument to one side for now and only focus on the all-female founding team that has been deemed investable by a UK-based VC. According to the British Business Bank research, All female founder teams need to go through 4 times the amount of investment rounds in order to reach the same level of investment as an all-male founder team. In fact, the research showed the average all-female investment round in the UK was just 23.6% of that of their all-male counterparts. So this is where we're going to learn how to remove parts of an image on Pixelmator, starting with the initial investment round. We'll click the paintbrush, then retouch, and then repair. So we'll just slide our finger over there in order to remove the £1 million investment round and of course the 2-year figure of 2 million. We'll give Mona Lisa the correct proportion of Mr. Vitruvian's round, so 23.6% of that round would be 236,000. With less than a quarter of the investment round, Mona Lisa is going to have to rapidly scale down on her business plan and reduce costs. We'll start with her salary and the investor monitoring fees by selecting the yellow for the paintbrush and changing this down to £36,000. We believe in Mona Lisa and her ability to sell. She did, after all, pitch to venture capitalists and persuaded them to invest in her. So we can probably get away with just entirely getting rid of the sales team. So we'll do that by selecting a white paintbrush. We'll just completely paint over this sales resource here, and then customers appreciate dealing directly with the founders, so we believe that Mona Lisa will manage that on her own. With budget constraints, we think it would be prudent to focus in on our core technology, so we'll do away with any new product development, but continue to protect our patents, so we'll just lower that budget to £50,000, and if she comes up with any new ideas, she can prove them out in her free time and raise for them later. Next would be plant and machinery. So perhaps the machinery is more of a nice to have than a need to have. And the team can really pull together and figure out some ways just kind of between them to really optimize production so that we can retain our gross profit margins, but just without all of that kind of heavy, expensive tooling. This means that we can reduce this budget down from 200,000 to 50,000. Now, we can't really do away with finance and accounting, and we certainly can't go without legal contracts, but perhaps some of the team can take on some of the more administrative tasks themselves. So we'll reduce this budget down from 100,000 to £50,000. Unfortunately, that only leaves £50,000 for marketing, trade shows and customer service, none of which we can do without. So we're really just going to have to ask the team to pull together and figure out creative ways, as I'm sure you can, of working with a smaller budget and utilising all the great things like social media that you can do for free. Now, even if Mona Lisa's team manages to exceed all laws of averages and manages to obtain a 1:3 ratio of investment to revenue over a 2-year period, this would still only mean a £708,000 total of revenue. The team is undoubtedly going to be overworked and, in many cases, burnt out. So let's just quickly change Mona Lisa's appearance, again using the plus button, going to pictures and finding a more appropriate updated image of Mona Lisa after 2 years. So if we take a look at these two companies side by side after a 2-year period, we can see that Vitruvian's team has performed well. They've diversified their product range, they have achieved cumulative revenues of £2 million, and they have more people involved in the business, making Vitruvian's team a very attractive proposition for follow-on investment. Mona Lisa's team has a smaller product range and only £708,000 in cumulative revenue, and less people involved in the business, making her a less attractive proposition for follow-on investment. This is, of course, a fictional scenario, but does represent the very real disparity in investment allocation to female founders and the very difficult choices that have to be made by these women to scale their businesses with less funds. If you fill a car with less than a quarter of a tank of fuel, it's not going to make it from Edinburgh to London, no matter how great the car or driver may be. So why do we continue to compare these businesses on a like-for-like basis when we know that female founders are operating with so much less fuel in the tank? My big ask of the day is that VCs and even earlier stage investors start monitoring their funds allocation per round and also their investment to revenue ratios to provide a much clearer picture of how well all female founder teams are actually performing. And finally, invest in some of your own comfortable productivity by checking out the G Hold product range at g-hold.com.